out of executive session.
So moved.
Daily,
Second.
second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The only thing we talked about was pending litigation. Okay, we go into 5, presentation. This is an action item, due enrollment, geography field trip. Lindsay Elkins and Stephanie Gaines.
Hey, do I need to call Joe?
Sure, yeah.
You don't care.
You ladies.
I know he's waiting. I care. I want you guys to call me when I'm not there.
Okay.
Call you a lot of things.
I'm sure.
Mostly nice things.
Yeah.
I'm sure of that too.
Hello.
You're on speaker, man.
All right, thanks.
Right now we're going into a presentation, which is an action item, dual enrollment geography field trip. Lindsay Elkins and Stephanie Gaines.
Hi, I'm Lindsay Elkins.
And I'm Stephanie Gaines.
We would like to speak with you. I'm a history teacher at Grants High School, and Ms. Gaines teaches computers and exploration. Correct. We are interested in reviving the Society of World Travelers. They were a group that another teacher had a few years ago, and the goal is to promote learning outside of the classroom by traveling, and we would like to plan a trip to go to Costa Rica this next summer. So we're wanting to go for 9 days, and it's with a company called EF, and they're a very reputable company. We've researched them. We've looked at what the students will do in regards to how it will help them in the classroom. They will travel to a volcano, they'll go to a rainforest, they'll get to see other cultures, and so it's a great opportunity for them to see the world. So we're also working with the college to do dual enrollment. So we are working with that. Stephanie?
Okay, so for the dual enrollment for the college, we had spoken with Dr. Space as well as Mr. Autry on it, and the requirement in order, to be moved to come over here was to get a dual enrollment for this kids. The kids will not be charged because we'll be going to New Mexico State grant. So I'm working with Dr. Shesky right now, so it's actually pending. They can earn up to 3 credit hours. So that'll be 3 credit hours in geography, 291 special topics, and they can use that every summer. So right now I'm in the works with him. We're emailing back and forth, so we're hoping that will become a 3 credits college credit for our kids. And Mr. Autry had already approved credits through our school. We're just looking for a code for the kids to get credit through our school through like the geography program and such. So right now that one is actually on the table, but it looks like it's going to be good to go.
So our main concerns is safety and making sure that we provide a good learning environment for the kids. So Ms. Gaines and I, we will both be on the trip, and for every 6 students, we would like a chaperone. So that's how we're kind of approaching this. We're going to start with us, and then if we end up with more than 12 kids, then we have a few teachers that are willing to go with us that are at the school. So the way EF works is they're an educational company. They specialize in students. So they'll always have a tour guide with us. There'll be guards at the hotel. There will always be with a chaperone. We're going to structure it to be as safe and as educational as possible because we want the kids to learn and have a really positive experience to where we can do this again. So we thought we would start with Costa Rica because it's not that far. It's something that we feel comfortable doing. Costa Rica is a relatively safe country. The cost is relatively low in regards to travel. So that is why we chose Costa Rica and why we want to do this.
Ms. Elkins, maybe you could share a little bit the history of what prompted you to do this, where you're coming from as an individual.
Okay. Well, I traveled with Mr. Behringer when I was in high school, and we went to Australia, New Zealand, and Hawaii. And it made,
This was at Grants.
yes, at Grants High School. And so it made me realize that I could travel and that I could go and see the world. And it opened up my eyes because we went to the Great Barrier Reef, we went to the Aboriginal Cultural Center, and for a girl in Grants, I had never seen anything like this. I just went on short family trips. So when I came back, I was bitten by the travel bug. And I've been to 9 countries and 20 states. I recently came back from Scotland and Ireland this last summer, as well as DC. And I've traveled with EF, with my niece, on the Los Alamitos trip. So that's why I was comfortable picking this company and taking the students, because I know how it works, because I was a student, and then going on this trip. So I feel comfortable taking the students.
So for my travels, I have traveled throughout the U.S. and also through Mexico, and I also lived in Mexico for about a month. So that actually prompted my travel and in future traveling with myself and my husband and my family. So that's why I also wanted to team up with Mrs. Alkins on the trip.
And we also have a lot of student excitement. When we mention it to the students, they get so excited. In fact, we have one young lady that is really interested in going on the trip, and so would you like to tell them where you want to go?
Hi, I'm Amber Zingerly. I'm a student at Miss Alkins, and when she told me about the Costa Rica trip, I was so excited because, well, like her, I'm just a Grants girl. I've never been anywhere. And so I would love to go see new things and learn about new cultures and see like just the wonderful things they have to offer to us. And it will just be amazing. And I'm willing to just go fundraise on my own money just to go and visit and see the world. Because it just seems like an amazing trip, especially with Miss Alkins. She's a lovely teacher, the best teacher ever. And well, I just want to see how it's like over there. And I do feel safe, how it sounds. I feel very safe. I feel excited more than ever. I've never been anywhere. So it would be my pleasure to go, especially with Miss Alkins. She's a great teacher.
So do you have any questions for us?
No, I know that Sean and Lori have done a beautiful job in the past. And the main thing, I think the board and of course everybody else is concerned about the liability. Because that's our top concern,
Right.
the safe travels. But I'm hoping that, you take this, that you go and consider the, safety of the kids.
Of course, that's our number one priority because there's no fun if something happens. So one of the things that we are requiring is that students pay for the insurance, and that is where if they're injured overseas, because domestic insurance won't be covered internationally, so that will cover them. And I've spoken with EF about it. If something were to happen, say a kid were to break their leg, God forbid, it would be covered because they have that insurance, and as well as travel protection and things like that. So I'm requiring that every student get that. And the students that we are taking, we are requiring that they not have more than 2 referrals in the school year, because we want to make sure that we take students that are excited and responsible, because our main concern is their safety, and we want to make sure that happens. So we want to take kids that are going to care about their safety as well. Not that they wouldn't, but
What about
responsible
their
kids. Yep.
GPA?
That isn't our biggest concern. We want to make sure that kids are going to listen to us at all times, obey our instructions, because that's the big concern, is safety. GPA, it's not a big requirement, but the referrals is.
The other thing is, how many students approximately?
Well, we opened it up to everyone. We're trying to see how many students are going to sign up, but for every 6 students we'll have a chaperone, and I'm guessing we won't have more than 24. That's a huge number. But if there is, then there'll be a ratio of 4 teachers to 6 students.
What's the cutoff?
The cutoff for how many students?
Cutoff for making sure that they have all the money and insurance?
Oh, they can sign up, anytime, but, they need to sign up this month, hopefully, because then the price goes up. Because there's a payment plan, and for every, month that they wait, the price goes up, because there's more money to pay. So, say a child does get a referral, in December or two, the money can be refunded through that insurance that they purchase, that $155, that's included in the fee. It covers their travel, illness, and if they need their money refunded. So that is how, that's our leverage to make sure that students are on task to go and be responsible.
Any other questions?
Oh, just a comment, my daughter, an oldest girl, she went to Europe with Mr. Behringer. And I'm gonna tell you, she cut and split and sold firewood on her own to pay for it. I mean, I think it's a great thing, she loved it. I think any chance you get these kids to get out and see the rest of the world. So I'm all for it, way to go, girls, or ladies. I think it's a great opportunity. If you have 24 or more, I'd sure love to be a chaperone. I'm just kidding, I can't. But Costa Rica is a very safe place as well, too. I'm all for it.
We also went on in order for us to start this program over again, in order for us to reintroduce this program again to Grants High School, we did get Mr. Behringer's blessing, because he is actually the one that started it, so we wanted to continue his tradition on and taking students. So we did write him a letter, we asked for permission. He has been guiding us, so he has been very great with helping us out with whatever we needed. So we do have him on our side to help us with whatever we need or whatever bumps on the road we foresee. But we did get blessing before we actually started this again.
Emma? Thank you very much for the presentation.
Thank you.
Dr. Space, we need your blessing.
Yes. I just want to commend these two young teachers. Everything that I asked them to do in terms of preparing, they did, and then some. I asked them to explore the dual credit possibility so that, again, the learning aspect of this could all be emphasized, and they did that very quickly. So in order to keep the costs as minimal as possible, it's coming before you tonight rather than October 28th. So I would recommend approval of this.
There's a recommendation by the superintendent. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion, we approve the
Jones?
field trip.
Second.
Mr. Stewart,
Are you
Yes,
there?
sir.
are you there?
I'm here, yes.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
We go on to item 6, instruction. It's an action item, rural income application. Dana, Asha?
This is a little more mundane, but just as important.
Oh, it's not mundane at all. This is exciting stuff. Mr. President, members of the board, Dr. Space, thank you for allowing me to come and bring an action step to you today. I know it's not normal to do that during a management meeting. Closer. Oh, okay. I don't think it's on. It's still not on. Hello? All right. You mean my teacher voice wasn't enough? There have been, I don't know if you know much about the rural low-income money or how we get it or anything like that. I have a 30-second synopsis if you're interested, but I won't bore you if you're not. Would you like to know how we
30 seconds.
30 seconds, okay. The rural low-income money is generated, well, actually, we're eligible for it because of our less than 10 people per square mile that we get from the census, and also our locale codes. And all of our locale codes in this county are rural. So we're eligible for the money because of that.
we receive an allotment based on the number of kids that are in school on the 40th day, which it happens to be tomorrow, and I was going to try to figure out a way to bribe the principals, to bribe the kids to all come to school tomorrow so that we could increase our funds, but I couldn't figure out a way to do that, so I did. And there are two parts to this grant. The reason that I'm bringing this to you is because for the last 2 years, for some reason, there are two pieces of salaries that are part of this grant that have not been put into the original application. So last year, there was an addendum done in the end of October, I believe. And this year, when I saw that there were no salaries in there, I moved some things around. And then the PED called and said you need to move some things around. So I need to put it back into the WebEx tomorrow, and that's why I needed to meet with you tonight. I moved some money from the Read 180 professional development, because that's being paid for by another, or Renaissance is being paid for out of Title I. I did give Read 180 4 professional development days for $9,000. And we also pulled some money out of the parent involvement activities, because we are having to change the way we do well, we're calling it the ILPT, the Indigenous Language Preservation Team. We thought we'd have to do a district group, but what we have to do are 4 school groups. So we were able to pull some money from there to be put into salaries. And then also we took money out of activities authorized under Title I for the subscription for Read 180, because that was also paid for out of another fund and we didn't need it. And one of the nice things about rural low income is that it actually mirrors whatever we need. We can use it for Title I activities, Title II professional development, or Title III language acquisition. So that is where we took money out to cover the salaries. So you can see from the old grant to the new application, that's where some of those changes were made. Then one other thing you'll notice, that the actual amount for the second grant is less, and that is because last year at the 40th day, 21 less students were in school, and so we lost some of the money. So you will see a lower amount, total amount in the second grant. We have not received the award letter yet, but they told me we do have an email from one of the people from the PED showing what it was that will change for us, so they allowed us to make those changes at this time. Are there any questions?
Questions?
I promise that next year those salaries will be in the original grant. We won't have to go through this.
Dr. Space?
I would recommend approval as presented.
Okay, here's the recommendation. Is there a motion?
Joel?
Make a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Stewart.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Okay.
Thank you very much. I do have a form for you to sign, Mr. Esteban, so that I can put that into the WebEx tomorrow. Thank you, sir. And Dr. Space has it.
Okay, we go on to item 7, budget and finance.
Good evening. Good evening. Why would she do that?
Because I knew he was coming next.
Good evening, President Esteban and members of the board, Dr. Space and staff members, as well as community members. What I have to present to you are 3 bars for your consideration. The first bar, it coincides with what Asha just presented for us in regards to the application. The budget adjustment reflects the salaries that were or the funds that were being transferred from the different account codes into the salary lines. And then in addition to that, the decrease of that specific fund. You'll note that the original amount was $68,816, and the decrease brought us to $67,346. So that's the first bar for your consideration. And the other two are, the next one is the initial budget for the dual credit. We received the award letter, and in the award letter it states that the funds need to be approved and expended before, I believe it's November. And so we wanted to make sure that the bar was in place in order to expend those funds. So that's the second bar for your consideration, and it's strictly for dual credit instructional materials. The last bar for your consideration is the Carl D. Perkins, and we received an increase in funds from that allocation. Originally it was $46,287, and the final adjusted amount was $54,260.86. The budget line items did also change slightly, and I'm in meeting with Gerald Harasik to go over those changes. You'll note in the appendix that is attached to the bars, it notes all of the salaries and proposed expenditures, as well as the summary and the explanation on those expenditures. So those are the three bars for your consideration.
Any questions?
How come there are two categories for indirect costs?
Those actually should just be subtotaled. The original amount was the $1,602.63, and then the adjusted amount was the $1,251.56. If you'll note in the actual appendix on pages 5 and page 3.
Page 505.
Yeah, I believe it's page 505. Yeah, I'm sorry, page 505. So, in the way the Carl Perkins Fund is, or the way it's funded, there are two sections, two programmatic sections of Carl Perkins, and so they had to be separated for those two indirect costs related to those two sections of the fund. So basically, that's why they're separated.
Right. Is that it?
That's all I have.
Okay, that's great.
I would recommend approval of the bars as presented.
Here's the recommendation from the superintendent. Is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve.
Mr. Jones, thank you.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Stewart. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nay. The bar's approved. Thank you. We go into item 8, work session. A, review of district policies.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the board, Dr. Space. I come to you this evening with just some information on the board policies. As you know, we subscribe to the Mexico School Boards Association Policy Service, which is a nice service because it provides us with any changes that happen through legislative action or statutes or just as people are reviewing them. But one of the things that Dr. Space wanted to ensure was that those policies are also working for us as a district. So with that, he gave me the task to look at these policies, to have a committee where we can look at those and bring forth to the board any possible suggestions or items we'd like you to consider. And with that, Dr. Space had the suggestion was to utilize the people that are seeking their administrative certification. So with that, we have three people, Giorgio Marquez, who couldn't be here this evening, Jennifer Griego, and Nadine Reeves. And so I want to thank them publicly for helping with this. And it'll be an ongoing process. So basically what we're doing, it involves me sending them the policies, reviewing them, and then providing any feedback to me. Mr. Sandoval also is part of that as well.
You, just to remember, you as a board appointed him.
So, it's kind of a tedious task, and, it's a lot of reading and going through that. So at this time, we've looked at the first two sections, which are the foundations and basic commitments, and section B, school board governance and operations. We don't feel that there's any changes required at this time. Again, we'll continue to monitor this. However, as part of the discussions, we bring in administrators or any key players we feel might have some input. I had asked the principals if there were any policies that they saw might need some possible attention or possible revision consideration by the board. One of the things that the principals did bring forth was that they are starting to see more of the electronic cigarettes, the vaporizers, and they felt that our current policy does not cover that. No one has challenged that to my knowledge, but what I did is I read that, I included all the policies that include tobacco usage, and I also included some language for the board to consider that would cover electronic cigarettes or vaporizers or some of those new devices that are out there. And with that, I'll stand for any questions.
Any questions?
So what I'll do if it's all right, at another board meeting, once you have time to review that, is we'll bring it to you for action to be included, unless there's any other revisions you see with that language. And we'll continue the process throughout the year.
Okay. All right. Is that all we have tonight?
Yes, sir.
Like I said, I didn't get a chance to really read.
No problem. And it's not an action item, it's just for the board's review right now and throughout the year. As you'll see me periodically, we'll be reviewing those policies, and if there's any other issues, we'll definitely bring those before the board.
Okay.
This policy change as proposed would come before you at the October 28th meeting for a reading.
I guess the only thing that I have in question is, I know that we have Mr. what's his name?
Williams?
Yes,
sir.
I just kind of want to know the protocol. How does this react on this first and then?
Good question, yes, sir. So basically, what happens is they provide any, like I said, any advisories, but if there's also policies that we'd like to revise, the board will take action on it. I can give Mr. Williams a heads up on it, and then what he'll do is once he sees that the board has taken action on that, I provide him the updated policy. He incorporates it, we tell him where we want it to go. In this case, it'd be a definition of what tobacco is considered, and then he updates the policy and provides us with the
I would
updated.
recommend that, the interns that are going through this look at other districts to see how they're doing it and what they're including.
Sure.
Just to be on the safe side, because I think we've done that in the past.
Right, and it's I think it's just it's basically gives us some assurance that not only from the state level that we're getting those advisories, but also from the site level and district level, we're ensuring that those policies are congruent with what we're doing and they're meeting the needs. Again, I want to thank our interns for helping out with this.
Yes, thank you very much.
Anything you want to add, ladies?
Excited to read it, huh?
Late night.
I remember when there was a smoking section at the high school.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I remember that as well.
Well, yeah, I'm not.
The green box over there.
I remember when they had a smoking room in my high school for seniors,
No kidding.
until somebody dropped a cigarette and burned the couch. That was ended.
That's back when Mr. Goodbar was a nickel. I'm just
And be careful.
Thank you very much, have a good evening.
Thank you. Okay. That's it for tonight. We have item 9, announcements, Wednesday, October 8th. Don't forget,
That's
New Mexico
tomorrow,
School Board Region 4 meeting here in Grants. We're hosting it, so I hope all of you attend. Are you coming, Mr. Stewart?
No, I'm not gonna be back till Thursday, unfortunately.
Shame on you.
No.
I can't believe that.
I know. Okay, B, Monday, October 13th, district is closed, Columbus Day, Culture Day. October 15th through the 18th, National Indian Education Association Conference in Anchorage, Alaska. Friday, October 17th, Parent Teacher Conference. Tuesday, October 28th, regular board meeting at Acoma Head Start, 5:30. Okay, future agenda items.
Just note the November work session. I'm going to invite the principals, and I'll put an invitation out to our administrative interns who may one day be principals. Julie Garcia from our at-risk provider through NIMSIA is going to do a presentation on threat assessment. It's a little more proactive than the active shooter. It's what to look for. And I think that'll be valuable for all of us.
I'd like to get an update on Los Alamitos.
Sure.
And also, I don't know where we're going to fit in New Mexico State University. Is it this one or the next one?
It's the
Yeah.
28th.
Yeah, remember though that in terms of future dates, Mr. Estefan and I will be meeting with the president of New Mexico State, Dr.
Right.
Carruthers,
Right.
on the 9th, which is Thursday. Thursday at 5 o'clock.
Their meeting is Friday.
Yeah.
All right. With that, if there's any other items that you wish to bring up, get with me and I can give it Dr. Space. There's no board comments, so we call for adjournment.
I make a motion, we adjourn and go to volleyball.
Second by Daly. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Right?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Have a good night.